Oh, God. That was sick. I didn't think I even got a hook up there too. Yeah, I think so. Oh man, we spoiled that, bro.
Young man, take a look at me now. I'm down to play today. You can string me up and bring the crowd. That's all I need to say. Voice of an angel, entertainment for a king. No rhythm to speak. I wish the God you could sing. Finding Helen of Troy in a real world style. Could start a religion with a launch coach smile. And I was born with a rock and roll soul. Here's what I need. Make me whole. Yeah, I was born with a rock and roll soul. Here's what I need. Make me whole. Yeah.
Well, get those life vests zipped in clips, strap down those rods, and stash away those tackle bags because we are going fishing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bass Two Anglers podcast. I'm your host, Keith Nicewonger, and today we're going to be checking in with Matty Wong. By now, you are probably familiar with his story. Born in Hawaii, moved to California, joined the Ventura Bass Club, fishing club tournaments and Bass Nation events. He qualified to represent California in the Bass Nation National Championship at the Ouachita River. Well, he also won that event and not only claimed a spot in the 2022 Bassmaster Classic, but he also accepted an invitation to fish the BASS Elite Series in 2022. Last time we talked to him, he was in the process of trying to secure support and sponsorship for the 2022 BASS Elite Series. Today we're going to check in and find out how he's doing with that quest. But first, please remember, if you like the content you get on this channel, to subscribe and leave us a comment. We really appreciate hearing from you. By now, you know that we are the Western representatives for Ducket Fishing. You know these guys, the strongest pro staff in all professional tournament fishing. We are adding new dealerships just about every week. If you live in Ventura, Los Angeles County, Orange County, the Inland Empire, Lake Havasu, Sacramento, we have a store that's ready to hook you up. If you own a tackle shop, or if you know one that we should call on, please get a hold of us by sending us a DM on Instagram or going to our website, basstouranglers.com, and send us an email. We would love to tell you about the Ducket line of pro-driven products, rods, reels, and baits.
Change. It's inevitable. To improve, you must adapt. The sport is evolving. A paradigm shift is a fundamental change of basic concepts. Don't get left behind. Introducing Paradigm. Paradigm Reels by Ducket Fishing. Pro-driven.
Our guest today is fresh off capturing the 2021 Brian Kershaw Memorial Trophy, having won the 2021 Bass Nation Championship at the Ouachita River in Louisiana. He will be fishing the 2022 Bassmaster Classic, and he will compete in the BASS Elite Series in 2022. He's a bona fide YouTube superstar, as his channel, Capture Fish, constantly drops insightful and intriguing content. Matty Wong, welcome back to the Bass Two Anglers podcast. Thanks for being with us today.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much again, Keith, for having me. And yeah, man, it's coming along.
Yeah. So this is kind of like part two of the first interview we did, because when we first talked, this was all
pretty new. It still is new, really. But I mean, you had just learned that you were going to fish the Classic and that you had an invitation to the Elite Series. And the big question then was, how does a guy put together the support you need in such a short amount of time? How has that process been going?
You know, it's definitely been a process to say the least. But I'm incredibly blessed with like my support system that I do have. A lot of the guys on the West Coast, just more than happy to help, you know, and I think that's the great thing about our sport is that everyone, if you share the passion for fishing, we want to see our friends succeed, or at least like that's how I am. Like when I watch my buddy up north do well, or like one of my buddies down south like win a tournament, like I want to support them the way that I can. And with this win, I've been having this overwhelming amount of support from people locally, from people even out of state. And it's been incredible, man. And I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, let's say the past, you know, since we've talked last, just about, business, marketing, trying to market myself, trying to make and align the right relationships with different companies and brands. And it's been a lot of work, man. I filled up already like half of one of these college rule like notepads, just sitting at this desk. Actually, I've spent a lot of time sitting right here on top of a apple box. I don't even have a chair, and I've been putting in a lot of time here. And I haven't been able to fish, but I know that with my time prepping and doing diligence, I have plenty of fishing time ahead. But yeah, it's been a process, but it's been good.
The Bassmaster Classic, but the BASS Elites, we are led to believe that it's like the golden ticket. There are so many open athletes, so many open anglers that are just killing themselves to try to get to the Elite Series. And your own journey is a remarkable journey. And we're led to believe that this is like the Willy Wonka golden ticket thing, towards prosperity. Are you running into roadblocks? Are you running into reluctant companies, or how's that working out?
Just like what you said, the picture gets painted when you come up as, if you do get the chance, or you do get the golden ticket, if you will, that it's smooth sailings and everything's golden. But that's definitely not the case. It's after doing some, getting help from one of my club members is a financial advisor, and he's been helping me a lot, which has been extremely, extremely helpful, just in the planning of this whole thing. And basically for me to just break even next year, need about $110,000. And, I'm getting close to that goal, through, my partners that I've been able to get. But I'm not there yet. And it's crazy because I just want to be able to fish without thinking about cashing a check.
Right.
I want to be able to fish with the mind of, I'm here to win. I don't want to try to like get 40th or 50th place. Like I want to like swing. I want to go and win this thing. So I think, for the younger kids that are following the sport, and they see that, when you make it, and everything comes free and whatnot. And yeah, there's parts of the coin where that's completely true. Like you spend all this money when you're getting up in the amateurs and you're doing it, and it's like every single thing adds up, right? From your Ultrex to your rods, to your baits, to everything like that. And then when you do make it, yeah, companies do want to give you product, and it's incredible. But at this point now, you're no longer trying to search for product, you're trying to search for funds. And the financial help is definitely, it's pretty important, because you want to be able to fish with a clear mind, and not have to think about, am I cashing a check this week, and am I going to be able to, afford a meal?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and make a guess that there's been maybe no end to companies that want to give you stuff. Take our stuff, go back and and make us proud. But it's too valuable of a platform to just take product. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. Unless there's opportunity, with a company that, maybe if they're starting off or anything like that, and then their product that they offer is like a really expensive product. And I mean, even then, it's just like you said, it's too valuable of a platform. There's too many eyes that are going to be on the Classic to not leverage the amount of publicity that you get. I was, in this past couple of months, basically in a month and a half, I've done a lot of my research and numbers and what the Classic draws, and even what a standard elite series event draws. And like an elite event draws close to 250,000 eyes, and the Classic draws 2.5 million. And so let's say even like a small percentage of that are actually like paying attention throughout the weigh-ins and whatnot. That's still a million, let's say half, that's a million eyes on your boat and on your wrap and what you're talking about, and companies that you're involved with. So it's a huge marketing opportunity for a lot of different companies. And I've been trying to align myself with companies that are like, one, established and that I truly believe in, and then two, if it is a newer company, that if we can meet in a place where we're both happy, where they know that they can get a return on their investment, and I'm also knowing that they also are investing in me as well. So it's been an interesting process.
When you're putting together the support that you're looking to put together, do you reach out to anybody in that industry? Like, for example, have you talked to any other anglers? I know there are anglers from the West that have gone back there. Do you reach out to any of those people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I want to take as much advice from people that have already taken these steps. I've talked to Randy Pearson, and Randy's such a great guy. And he reached out to me, and we had great conversations. And I talked to him a few times on the phone. He had a lot of great insight for me, and I'm super grateful to him. Chris Zaldane is another guy who's incredibly friendly and super, super helpful and straight up with me. Brandon Polinick extended a hand, Carl Jochimson, and Mike Iaconelli. And then there's a few others as well, like Caleb Summerall and Jeff Gustafson. I've been super grateful to be able to connect with a lot of these guys that I've looked up to a lot in the past, like 10, 15 years. And I'm like, man, it's so cool that I finally get to, like, one, get to compete against them, but two, like, I feel like I'm developing a friendship. So
what's the best advice anybody gave you?
There's a couple different ones. Mike said something that really resonated with me, and that was, don't change who you are. Be yourself. Don't try to fit in. And I'm like, I like that. That's a great piece of advice, because I don't think, you're always a product of your environment, one, but two, I think when someone grows up in a certain place where there's a certain culture, it's really hard to take that out of them. And when you try to fit in, you lose touch of yourself. And for me, being from Hawaii, I don't ever want to lose touch of that. And that really resonated with me. And so that was a really cool piece of advice. Brennan Polinick said, you've earned your way to be here. So don't let anyone else make you feel like you didn't deserve this win. And don't let anyone else make you feel like you don't deserve to be here because you worked hard to get here. And it's crazy that you've done it in such a short amount of time. That's what they've kind of all said. But it's just like what he said. It's like, I can't downplay also what it took for me to get there, and the amount of time that I've spent on the water. And so, yeah, I just also just building confidence in myself, because when it's intimidating, I'm thinking about it, or like when I'm doing research, like right before the call, I was doing research on Hartwell, man. And to see guys like Takahiro Mori and, Mike Iaconelli and like Casey Ashley, like guys like I've looked up to for like such a long time, and know that I'm going to be like fishing against some of these dudes. It blows my mind. So yeah, I'm trying to, have the mantra in my head, like, look, you've worked hard to get here. Now just keep going to work and don't let other people's names or anything like that interfere with my confidence, and just go out there and do my thing.
Well, I think we can safely say that there are not going to be any other Matty Wongs out there. You are a very unique person. I mean, obviously your background, your YouTube channel. A lot of these pros have YouTube channels, but they didn't start that way. You've started that way, and you might have to kind of break into some of those circles, but you will. You're a charmer.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And it is special kind of doing the whole YouTube thing from, I guess, the beginning. I know that there's a lot of people out there that are in love with the sport of bass fishing and are also really competitive.
Yes.
And when you're in love with the sport and you are intrigued and interested in competing, it can also be extremely overwhelming and daunting of a task to, where do I start? Like, where does step one start? Like, how do I even start competing? And that's kind of an overwhelming task in itself. And so for me, I want to encourage people to start where I started, ground up from a club, do Bass Nation and go for it, or do Juan Bass or Wild West or any of like the local tourneys, but just starting at a root space and then build on it. And I think through YouTube, it's really helped me kind of share my story through that. And so I'm pretty grateful that I have a little bit of I know you said YouTube sensation, but I'm working on it. I want to be there someday, but I'm coming up on 3,000 subscribers, which is a big milestone for me. And I think it's a good amount of growth, man, for how short I've been doing it. And I'm very
well. I can tell you, Matty, there's maybe a handful of people that when their new videos drop, I make sure I watch. Matty Wong, Brandon Polnick, Greg Blanchard, and some of the other stuff here and there. But I mean, I think your fans. I think your fans are. I think if you got 3,000 followers, you got 3,000 real followers, and that's a good place to start. Hey, I wanted to ask you if you decided on lodging yet. I know we talked to KJ Queen last year, and he was sleeping in his car. I mean, he was doing that, what they call it, the Tundra Estates or whatever you call that. Yeah. What is your lodging situation going to be? Are you going to lodge with other anglers, or are you going to be on your own? What are you going to do?
Yeah. So, through the bass fishing grapevine, if you will, I think it's an incredible network of people that are willing to help, like I had said. And because how late it is in the year, and also supply and demand with trucks and campers, I was wanting to go the camper route. I truly was. That's why I was really picking the brains of Brandon and Carl about it. And they're like, it's a great way because you get to sleep right by the lake. You get to feel when, weather changes happen, and you also have something that's comfort. And that really rung a bell, because I'm like, man, that's amazing, because even though it's a little shack on wheels somewhere else, you develop a sense of comfort in that space.
Yeah. Because
it's familiar, and having a sense that's, familiar in every spot that you show up gives you a sense of grounding and a good sense of home and feel, and a great place to reset. But unfortunately, this year I won't be able to do the camper thing. So I'm going to be doing either Airbnbs and then also anyone who's willing to have a West Coast kid crash on their couch for a week or so while I chase this dream is greatly appreciated. So
that sounds like a pretty good video to put up in the next week or two. And I'll bet you get some offers.
Yeah, no, I'm really grateful. I got a good amount of them covered already, which is really neat. If I'm going to like pulling out the book of what I've what I've already kind of covered so far. Florida is taken care of, which was a big one. And I was really kind of worried about where I was going to be staying in Florida, but I got all of Florida taken care of. I got Hartwell taken care of, at least for this first round for the Classic. And then I got Cherokee taken care of, Texas, and a few others. But it's I'm not able to find it. But it's definitely a process. But I know that the more people that I meet and I'm able to connect with, I'm sure someone's looking for an extra head to fill an Airbnb. So I think that's the route that I'm going to take. Obviously, I would love to have like a home base, but right now financially, I can't do it. Yeah.
So I almost went beyond and forgot to ask the question: who have you partnered with for this tour this year? These are going to be companies that are basically buying your stock at its initial public offering. So who are you going to be working with this year?
Yeah, well, I'm super, super excited to be working with Megabass as my title sponsor. I'm extremely grateful to be able to call them my number one, and short, like really close behind them is Lateral Vision.
Awesome.
The guys over at Lateral, I know I've seen that. It's awesome, man. They have such a huge heart, and their community represents that as well. Everyone who like rocks with Lateral Vision gear are most of the time really good people, and
absolutely.
And it's really cool, man. And I've seen their brand do amazing things in the past couple of years, and so the fact that I can help bring them to a national level is really, really something. And also the fact that they'll be able to help me go to that national level as well. So it's definitely a symbiotic relationship.
Will there be will there be any like tournament shirts, or will there be any stuff like that coming out? Yeah. Because I would think that would be really a good way to do it.
Yeah, no, we plan on doing basically these Matty Wong capsules, if you will.
Yeah.
Every couple of months, and I'm going to help design them with the design team over at Lateral Vision, and they'll be on my own section on the website where fans can go along and purchase those products, and then a certain percentage of that also goes to me as well, which is really, really cool on the way that they set that up. Because obviously I'd want to do my own personal merch and whatnot, but for me, if I can help out Lateral Vision grow their brand, and they can also help me on the forefront of being able to do the whole shipping and backstock holding, it's a win-win. So
that is a win-win. That's there's some real good opportunity there, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm really excited for that partnership to just keep growing, because those guys over there are really, really awesome. So I'm stoked to be with them. I'm also I signed on with Wu Tungsten. I also signed on with this company called Powerhouse Lithium, and it's a brand new lithium company. And
that is a valuable commodity in the bass boat world.
Yeah, I really think it's special because there's a bunch of new lithium companies coming out and whatnot, but how do you set yourself apart from other lithium companies? And it's not only your product and how consistent it is and how good the product is, but then also how are you able to take care of your customers? And it's something that I think Powerhouse Lithium can really bring to the table. And I think they're the first lithium battery company that offers a warranty up to 15 years.
15 years. And how many batteries I buy in 15 years?
So there's a tier system, obviously I think it's like after 8 years or something, you pay X amount, 10, X amount, but the fact that the company actually stands by their product and is able to do that is really something. So I'm excited to be able to partner with them and, be able to kind of also bring the company to the West Coast, because I will also have a link where my subscribers and fans will be able to go and click on a link and get like 10% off of a pretty expensive battery.
Yeah,
which helps every little bit.
absolutely.
Yeah. And so with Powerhouse Lithium, then I also have just signed with Electric Sunglasses. So another local.
I've heard of that company before.
Yeah.
That's let's see. We got a guy out here that does that's
Todd Klein.
I just talked to Todd. Exactly. Todd Klein. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. They're kind of a surf industry sunglass, right?
Exactly. And for me, that really resonated with me.
Absolutely.
Because and not to say that I didn't have an option with Costa or Maui Jim, but for me, Electric were the first ones to, that electric surf,
Yeah.
I'm a surfer at heart. I love the sport. I've done it my whole life. And there's kind of a feel that goes with that. And I think that with fishing becoming more and more of this mainstream thing, and the glasses and the optics that they're able to supply are incredible. I just got a couple of pairs, and the polarized lenses that they have are they go so deep with their technology that there's like anti-fatigue color or shading in it to actually like help with eye fatigue throughout a day. And then you also have different colors of lenses to help during low light conditions, during like high contrast, high sun, and then during different, if your eyes are all these different types of models and whatnot, and also pretty stylistic shades where different facial frames and features can match a bunch of those different lenses. So I'm pretty excited to be partnered up with Electric. I think this is my first time actually going through the line of all the people that I'm partnered with.
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, we got to get these names. I'm thinking all these things I got to go out and buy now. I'm just keeping a list right here.
So yeah, that's another one, Sims.
Oh, that's a good one.
I can't forget about Sims. So yeah, I'm really excited to be on the Sims team for next year. The guys over at Sims have been, I was talking with them, and they were really, really interested right when I first won, and it's cool because I've always had Sims gear, and I've always looked at it as the pinnacle when it comes to just high quality outerwear. And so I'm really, really excited to be on the Sims team next year. And
that's also a company that really understands what this business is about. So that's a good group to be with, because they understand the impressions that you're going to create, and they understand the value to them from that. That's good. That's a good one.
Yeah. So really excited to be with Sims. And then right now I'm still I'm going through negotiations with hook and line companies.
Okay.
And also waiting on a cooler company. And then also potential with a new jig company out of California. So
very good.
Oh, and before I land, last but not very least, Bastrix. So. Oh
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There's
so
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think back. I mean, Bastrix needs to support a Western guy, because that's a company that's fairly regional, but they could blow up. They could blow up all over the country because they make a unique product.
They make a very unique product. A lot of people try to duplicate it, but they can't. They can't do the real thing. And I think that's what sets Bastrix apart from everyone else, is that they really have an incredible swim bait that they can, and not only a swim bait, like everything down to their small finesse baits are incredible. And the colors that now the new owner, Brian, has taken the business to a whole different level when it comes to bait making. So being a close friend of mine, and also being a local here in Ventura, for me to be able to bring them along with me is such an honor. And so I'm really excited to be partnering with them as well.
It's very cool. Very cool.
Change. It's inevitable. To improve, you must adapt. The sport is evolving. A paradigm shift is a fundamental change of basic concepts. Don't get left behind. Introducing Paradigm. Paradigm Reels by Duckett Fishing. Pro-driven.
We're talking to Matty Wong. He is getting himself ready not only for the Bassmaster Classic in a couple of months, but he's getting ready to dive off into the BASS Elite Series. I've really enjoyed watching the travel vlogs for the Bass Nation Championship. Awesome. I mean, the cross-country driving stuff, you know, I don't usually watch that kind of stuff, but because it's either your flair or that I know you, it's been very cool. And you just dropped the actual first day just this week. And by the way, if you don't know, Matty's channel is called Capture Fish, and it's something I recommend highly. But Matty, that boat you fished in is a special boat. It does not have power poles, right?
No.
Okay. And that is a power pole fishery for sure.
Oh yeah.
You still kicked everybody's butt. I think that is just fantastic.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that is definitely a special boat. You know, that boat means the world to me. And my goal is to one day, I want to be able to have my own property with my own like private pond on it, and it would be really cool to have that boat on that pond.
So we can retire.
And then I'll just be a happy camper, man. So that's, you know, that the boat is, it's a platform, you know, and Brandon said, he's like, yeah, but you got, he's like, yeah, but you got the job done. he's like, hey, that's all that matters, bro. You got the job done. Doesn't matter. Like, you did it. Yeah. So, you know, and so it's crazy, man. I love that boat. I'm stoked that you like my vlog series. It was something experimental. I was like, I don't know if my guys are gonna really enjoy this. I don't know how, you know, it's gonna be received, and I kind of tried to make fun with the pacing of it and the feel of it, and to make sure that there was still like a good story behind it. So that's really that's awesome that you enjoy watching those, and thank you, man.
Yeah, no. So now when the Elite Series gets started, are we going to, can we expect to see more of that kind of content? And is it going to be you doing the editing? Because that's a time consuming deal right there.
Yeah. So my goal is, yes, I still want to be able to still pump out content. And hopefully I'll still be able to pump out content every single Monday. That is my goal as of now. Depends on the amount of support that I can get in editing. I understand now that I will not be able to do a bulk majority of my editing like I have been, or all of the editing that I've been doing. Because I spend about 8 to 10 hours per episode. And so a lot of time goes into it, and I take a lot of pride in my edits. And so it is kind of, I'm talking to this guy now who has some experience editing professionally, also as a fisherman. And so that's kind of a unique relationship that we're starting to build. And I want to see, how he interprets also some of the things that I do. And I think for the most part, my edits are pretty linear when it comes to, my day on the water. But then there's also the real little subtleties that I like to throw in there too, like me making fun of myself.
Yeah.
And, I think that also adds an element of being human, and not trying to come off as like this person who has everything like perfectly polished, because the truth is no one does. So I like to make light of those things. But hopefully that I'm able to do that. I also, I'm working with Hookup Tackle too, out of Arizona. And Ben at the Hookup has been extremely supportive.
Tackle shop, right?
Tackle shop. So, hopefully they'll be able to help me with some of my editing, because they have an incredible little team over there.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's the support's growing, and everyone is. It seems like everyone's on board. So I like to think that I'd be able to stay consistently pumping out content every single Monday for all the viewers to kind of follow along with me on this journey.
The hookup he's got he sells online, right?
Yeah. So he
There you
does
go.
e-commerce, and
yeah, I mean there's a national audience for him. That would seem like that would be a good trade.
No, definitely. He's a great guy, great businessman, great father, and so I want to be able to help support him because he's already helped support me a bunch too. So that's a partner that I'm excited to grow with and to help him grow, because he also supplies the largest selection of JDM tackle where no one else does, to that extent.
That's a Mega Bass shop, right?
Yeah, so they specialize in Megabass, but they don't only do exclusive Megabass. They carry depths, they carry Optimum, they carry I think Evergreen too, and they carry a lot of these high-end Japanese brands that are really hard to get a lot of times.
Yeah.
And they're the only distributor in the U.S. that carries every single Megabass SKU. So every single Megabass SKU that is available to the U.S. and I don't think they don't have all the Japanese ones, but they have a huge selection of a lot of the Japanese SKUs. But they carry every single Megabass America SKU and a lot of the products that are coming over from Japan too. So the hookup tackle is definitely a great place to go and get exclusive Megabass stuff.
Very interesting connections that I'm learning about here. It's good stuff. It's really, really good stuff. So I was going to ask you, but you already said you are in the process of doing prep for the Classic. What is that like? I'm assuming you haven't fished Hartwell before. Is that true?
Yeah, no, I haven't. I've never been there. I mean, I'm approaching it just like how I would a Bass Nation event. To be honest. You do as much research as you can, during the time of year that you're going to be fishing it. What does the lake kind of look like? What's the layout? Where's the launch going to be? How much distance is it from point A to point B in certain areas? How much of a run is that? What's the prevailing winds? What are the average temperatures of that year? Is it like a electric power, hydropower lake where they draw water? Is it a consistent flow? Like, it does not flow? Where are the creeks? Where are the ditches? Where are the main channels? A lot of that kind of stuff.
That's a blueback herring lake, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't talk about Hartwell. The rules of Fight Club. You can't talk about Fight Club.
Well, that's right.
So that's the thing. It's interesting because we have the internet at our disposal for research. But when talking to anyone about the fishery itself, it's I would not want to test false, or I should say positive, during a polygraph.
I get you. I get you. Okay. That's fair. That's very fair. And I wouldn't want to be the guy that asked you or put you on the spot for that either. So,
well, no, the good thing is, like, anyone talks about it, I could just politely say, which has been interesting because it's like a lot of guys want to help.
Yeah. And you did excuse yourself from that question. So, now obviously the elites are going to be actually starting before the Classic.
Yep.
Outside of the elites this year, are you going to fish any other events? Are you going to jump in some opens, or are you going to do any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So I'm fishing the Southern Opens as well.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a seat in all the Southern Opens. I had an opportunity to fish more, but I didn't want to burn myself out.
Yeah.
I figured I'd just do the one that would align most with my travels, and also something, since I'll be fishing Hartwell, I'll be going back to Hartwell, which would be cool. Since I'm going to be in Florida for the first week of February, that will give me at least one whole week to kind of get acclimated to Florida fishing. That will kind of help prep me into going into the first elite event. As much as, Lake Toho is completely different from like St. John's, there's also a lot of similarities when it comes to just Florida fishing in general. and
Now,
how those bass react.
you are using a company boat this year. Is that right?
Yeah. So the boat that
Do
I
you get to,
want
do you get
is
to use that in the opens? Do you get to use that in the opens?
yeah, I get to use it for whatever I want basically
Okay.
the next year. And I'm staring at a whole bunch of electronics that I can't wait to slap on it. I got I got a few things that I'm really really excited to have at my disposal at the bow of my boat now, because I've only been able to play with them on my friends' boats, and I've definitely become accustomed to using all the tools that I'm going to have on my boat, but never together and never on my own boat. So I'm excited because I'm a techie guy too. I really enjoy tech. I think that technology is incredible, but at the same time, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? I wish forward-facing sonars were illegal.
Oh,
Yeah. I wish they were. I just think, but that's my own opinion. I mean, I think that everyone has their own opinion on it. And I still think, yeah, you have to catch them, but it also takes away the excitement when you actually watch the fish go up and eat your bait. But with that being said, it's also a super valuable tool that everyone else has. And if you don't have it, you're left in the dust. So
yeah.
I understand that. And I love to jerk bait, and I love to jerk bait with a forward-facing sonar. So hopefully, I'm not going to be doing the Patrick Walters all year, but I'm excited to have that piece of equipment.
Yeah, the Patrick Walters has its place in time, and it's very effective in that setting.
Oh no, it really is. It's an incredibly deadly combination, especially with the tool that I'm really confident in using, which is a jerk bait.
Yeah.
So I just need to get used to using the active target, and figuring out the small nuances with it. And then I'm also running a 360 by Humminbird, which I'm really excited to, because that's something I'm really familiar with, and I think is a really, really valuable piece of equipment, especially fishing deeper water.
Matty, when do you leave Ventura for good, or
for the road?
The road, yes. When do you leave?
I think I'm heading out of town around the 20th.
Okay.
Depending on what weather is going to be like and whatnot, because I know I have to go up through parts of northwest, and then drop down. I really don't want to take the 10 across. So plan around where I got to stop and whatnot. It's going to take me about 4 to 5 days to get to Florida. So if I'm not rushing myself, I don't want to be burnt out by a long drive before I get there and start competing. So, but it's the week of the 20th is safe to say that I'll be heading out of Ventura. My lease ends at this apartment January 31st, so it kind of like worked out perfectly.
So you're gonna be homeless.
Yeah, I am, man. And it's crazy. It's crazy to think, because you live your whole life thinking you have you get an apartment or you get a house and you make it your own, you make it comfortable, you make it so you're very comfortable when you come home. It's your familiar place, it's your safe space, right? And to know that I'm about to take a step into a career that I've never done, take a step into a space not having a safe space.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But with that comes the flip side of the energy of I built up from very humble beginnings. And I understand that if you work hard at anything, you'll see results if you have the right work ethic and you work hard at it. And I don't want it to be too easy for myself. And this is definitely one of the hardest routes possible. I talked about in another podcast, like how moving to California was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. Was one of the terrifying and also exciting, and just the unknown. Just buying a one-way ticket and having a couple suitcases and just leaving Hawaii, which is my comfort. That was super, super terrifying. But with doing that and succeeding over, a course of almost 9 years now, which is crazy, that I'll be leaving like 1 year short of a decade of spending in California, that, I'm about to take the next step, and a step into a realm that is a dream of mine.
Yeah.
And I'm not as, it's funny because when I was younger, the fear of the unknown, right, is just so daunting, and this lurking shadow. But now, since I've done it, in a different way, I'm excited for this challenge, if you will. And
Very cool.
I know everything will kind of like fall into place. So
yeah. Well, Matty, thanks for coming on tonight and sharing what your experience has been like. I don't want to bother you on the road very much, but I am going to call from time to time just to check in. We can, get something quick in, but
of course,
I think we're all pretty excited for you. And I think we're all living vicariously through you. So best of luck, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Now, right on, Keith. It was great talking with you again. And thanks again for having me on.
All right. Thanks a lot.